on the theme of life will begin when. So a lot of people at the minute are kind of in that state of, you know, lockdown. I guess it does relate in terms of imagined limits. You know, the imagined limit that only spring is okay. I'll be okay when it's spring. My life will begin when it's spring again. And so same for lots of people right now. It's that kind of, well, my life's on hold, isn't it? Can't do anything. Yeah. And I'll be happy again when lockdown's lifted, when I can go to the pub again, when I go to the restaurants again. I'll be motivated again when work's back to normal and I'm back in the office, or when my career can really start again. I know somebody got in touch with me about that, saying, feeling like his career was on hold. And of course, it's the same thing playing out. It's the same idea of self at the level of Sandbank, which is saying, this how it is isn't okay and needs to be different, and creating an imagined gap between where we are and how we should be and where we should be. So like the example I had with my daughter in the newsletter, I'm not okay as 11 and a half. I need to be 12, because when I'm 12, then life will begin. And I had this really huge example actually this morning with a client who, for a number of years, he really wanted to get an OBE, and he wasn't working. It wasn't his permanent, I'm going to do this stuff so I get an OBE, but it was on his mind that, I'm doing the kind of work that could be recognised. And anyway, last year he got one, supposedly the pinnacle of his career, supposedly the thing that was going to make him so proud and feel so secure and complete. And guess what? Of course, no, OBEs can't do that. They haven't got that power. They're not magic like that. And so there he was today going, yeah, Jesus, it didn't work. I don't feel always happy. I don't feel secure. In fact, I'm kind of embarrassed about it. I haven't even really celebrated it with anybody because I'm a little bit, feel awkward about it because of that. Again, the mind gets into a tussle of, I want to be successful, but don't get too big for your boots. Or as his story was, don't be too successful, because if you and don't believe you've made it, because then you'll be in for a fall. Like then it'll all disappear. So anyway, that was his story, and that was what he thought would disappear in the presence of an OBE. And no, it's not possible. So what we're recognizing here is the just that idea of lack, the idea of lack that appears with an idea of self, and that the self, as we've been taught, will then go seeking in the world for objects and people and activities to make it feel whole, or substances, food, even essential oils, even supposedly good stuff. You know, it'll use yoga, it'll use meditation, it'll use anything. Kale. Oh, I've got a brilliant video I'll have to share with you guys about kale and spiritual people. Yeah, it will use anything to try and fill this imagined lack and try and make itself feel secure and happy and okay. And nothing will work, not long term. We can have that initial, as my client did, initial quietening of the mind post OBE or post kale or post a drink, where temporarily, complete, whole. But that feeling of wholeness is the wholeness that's always there and just being revealed in the silence of the mind as it's gone quiet. And then freedom when we recognize that. Freedom and possibility when we see that there's nothing out there that can do it. And the mind will run away with ideas of, but then life will be really dull, because then what will make me happy? I can't enjoy a glass of wine anymore because I know that the wine's not the thing making me happy. But it's not like that. It's like, do you remember the Ready Brek adverts? Nat, I'm not sure if this will translate into the US. We have this like ground oats breakfast cereal, and the advert in the 1980s showed kids with this orange glow around them as they walked around the cold winter streets because they'd had the Ready Brek. So what's available is that we become Ready Brek Glow kids because we know the wholeness that we are. And now, in the presence of that, we can do anything. So like me with my spring only being allowed, now the whole year gets to be available. And for my client who thought OBEs were the only thing, now anything could be done. There's now not a limit on happiness only comes from these certain things, or fulfillment only comes from these certain things. Now, yeah, literally the whole world is open.